After yesterday's postponement of games due to Typhoon Enteng, the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League is back in action here at Olivares College Gym in Parañaque City. And for our first game, we feature the reigning MVP, Justin Baltazar, who did have a double-double in their last game, which was a loss against the San Juan Knights. They will be looking to vent out all their vengeance on Louis Vigil and the Bacolod City of Smiles as they look for their first win in 21 games. Later on at 6 o'clock p.m., we will be seeing the Bulacan Cuyas going up against the Mindoro Tamaraws. And in our main game, the Parañaque Patriots will be defending their home floor against the leader in the north, the San Juan Knights. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to everybody watching on MPTV Channel 98 on Signal, Satellite Channel 53 on the Pilipinas Live app, as well as on our Facebook and YouTube channels. This is Happy Palanya, joined by Coach Mike Perez. Coach Mike, we witnessed the Battle of North last Friday. It was really an intense battle between Pampanga and San Juan. Right now in this game, Coach, well, what can you expect Pampanga will do here? Or actually, first, I would ask you, what did they do wrong in that game against the San Juan Knights, especially in that second half?
Well, I think there were a lot of things taken away from Pampanga, lalo na in the first half. It really was just the way that San Juan really played defensively against Balti Baltasar, which was a good thing because in the third quarter, they were able to recover and make their threes, but really just ran out of time. And so, if you're going to ask me how they performed today, I'd hate to be part of the Bacolod team because these guys are out to get another win.
It's definitely going to be a long afternoon para sa Bacolod City of Smiles. Let's bring in the third member of our broadcast panel, Ms. Mika Besames. Mika, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. The Olivares College Gym is just about ready for 3 exciting ball games. And for this first game, para dito sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns, they have realized so many things after that game against San Juan, and one of which was their defense. Naging mahina daw sila sa depensa nila, and so they fixed a lot of defensive schemes coming into this game. And so if you will notice, their star players are actually lined up against Bacolod. Para naman dito sa Bacolod, they only told me one thing, and that was there is no perfect game. And so they will look for the holes and try to compete against the defending champs. Javi and Coach Mike.
Thank you so much, Mika. We'll be hearing her more of her reports later on as this game progresses. Tingnan natin ang ating team standings beginning with the Southern Division. Coach, still kompleto na ang ating ang ating playoff cast dito sa Southern Division, Coach. But Bacolod at number 14 here, they're gonna try to finish their campaign here on a high note.
Yeah, that's very true. So, you know, you have your 8 teams already, but it's really the top 7 teams that's trying to still chase that home court advantage. Meron pang very remote chance. Yung ibang teams, Parañaque, Davao, and South Cotabato, very remote, but they still could land that number 4 spot, enough for them to gain the home court advantage.
And of course, home court advantage, very important in the playoffs. You want your home crowd to be able to boost your confidence and your energy in that all-important postseason. Sa North Division naman, Coach, ano nangyayari dito?
Well, we look at the top 3 teams, San Juan, Pampanga, and Nueva Ecija. Those most probably will be locked in at the top 3. It's really just a matter of who gets 1, 2, and 3, you know. But really, the battle for home court advantage stretches from Team 4 all the way to Team 7. That's Manila, Pasay, Abra, and even Caloocan trying to go and get a chance to have home court advantage at least for the number 4 spot.
Pampanga only has 3 games remaining on their schedule, but they do still have a chance to regain that top spot in the Northern Division. Let's talk about their last game against the San Juan Knights in the Battle of Northern Supremacy. It was their first loss since losing to Rizal on opening game against the Golden Coolers last April 9. This was a 4-point loss, but they were able to climb back out of the hole that they dug themselves into. They were down by 16 in that first half, Coach. They went back in the second half. But what happened was Enzo Serrano, who gave life to them before halftime, was completely absent. He only scored 7 points in the second half.
That's right. It really was more of Jeff Bienes who was carrying the fight for the most part in the second quarter until Balti started waking up in that game. But again, it really goes back to how they defended against Balti, and you know those shots from the outside really made them defend long. And so the numbers would really tell you that it really was volume shots para dito sa Pampanga, but not enough makes as they struggled from the 3 points. They got most of their threes from the third and not enough points off the bench. They're usually with the average 42 bench points, but in this game, very low, 20 points. And so you are looking for the other guys to start stepping up off the bench.
You would think Coach Medic Di Matulak would have an easier day here against Bacolod, but of course they're looking to pour all their vengeance against the City of Smiles here today after that loss to the San Juan Knights last Friday. Pag-usapan natin ang last game ng Bacolod. Even though they went up against the QC side with just 5 players, that was a lopsided defeat that they had. Against the Tamaraws, they put up a much better fight, losing by 9 points, but still, coach, their defense has been suspect.
Yeah, and they were able to cut down the deficit to just 10 after 3 quarters, but really ended up with another double-digit defeat. Actually, good field goal percentage. Not enough three-point percentage, only about 17%. And they got out-rebounded and out-hustled. And if you have a problem with big stats, you're gonna, got a lot of challenge against Mindoro.
Louis Vigil was able to score 31 points in that game, had 14 rebounds as well, another double-double performance para sa kanya. He'll be looking to lead the City of Smiles here to their first victory in a long while. Let's get the show on the road. Let's go to Richard Tampos.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 2024 Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Season 6 presented by Extreme. Our first game is Pampanga versus Bacolod here at Olivares Coliseum, Parañaque City. Here are the starters. Let's begin with the reigning and defending MPBL champion, Pampanga Giant Lanterns, AMG 3 Construction. One guard number 30, Raymond Binuya. At forward number 29, Brandon Ramirez. Power forward number 25, Matt De Leon. Starting at guard number 15, Renz Alcoriza. And at center number 19, Justin Baltazar. They will be led by Pedic Di Matulak. Coaching consultants are Alan Trinidad and Mervin Mercado. Assistant team managers Ronald Nulud and Raymond Guevara. Team manager and team owner is Aurelio A.G. Gonzalez III. Now the starters for Bacolod City of Smiles. To guard number 10, Rashawn McCarthy. Power forward number 14, Decoy Lopez. Point guard number 16, Ivan Ludubice. At forward number 24, Louis Vigil. And at center number 17, Danny Marilao. Bacolod will be led by RJ Argamino with the team representative Paul San Jose. Referees for this ball game are crew chief Alan Manzano, umpire 1 Severino Pingol Jr., umpire 2 Carol Guay. Alternate referee is Alvin Sosonko. This game is under
Our
the
starting five for
supervision
this game brought to you by
regulation.
SportsMax, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Win to the max. Raymond Binuya, Renz Alcoriza in the backcourt, joined by Justin Baltazar, Matt De Leon, and Brandon Ramirez in the front court for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. On the other side, Bacolod will be beginning things with Ivan Ludovice, Sean McCarthy, Danny Marilao, Louis Vigil, and Decoy Lopez. It's going to be a long afternoon, as I mentioned at the top of our coverage, for these Bacolod players. And they go up against the Pampanga Giant Lanterns, this loaded roster, the defending champions, losing their first game since April 9 when they lost to the Rizal Golden Coolers. There's a technical early here right before tip-off. I think there was some changes to the starting lineup that hindi na clear out sa ating mga table officials kasi ang unang naitawag si Wilson Baltazar pero ang talagang dapat pala mag-start is si Balti.
Right. And so that merited that extra free throw to start the game.
No, I'm sorry, no. The technical was on Bacolod because I think there are less than 10 players today. So
okay. Because there was a little mix-up also on the starting call-outs earlier.
Giant Lanterns get opening possession here. Corner pocket 3, Baltazar. We talked about this, coach, before the start of the coverage that you're expecting to see Balti take a lot more outside shots this afternoon.
Well, I'd like to think based on how they got played in that defense by San Juan, where they were really covering on the block. Itong si Balti Baltazar, understandably so. And so kung itong si Balti could actually score from the outside, knocking down threes, which is he is very capable, that would help stretch out the defense against him, and so hindi concentrated sa paint. No?
Even Brandon Ramirez is trying to hoist up an outside shot early here in this game. Matt De Leon almost got the offensive rebound. That's going to be outside in favor of the City of Smiles. Lopez hands it off to Rashawn McCartney. McCartney goes inside. That's swatted away by Matt De Leon.
And then this is going to be tough because you understand that in a lot of stats, mataas na ranked itong Pampanga. And so you have to do a better job of trying to be better on the stat lines for this game.
Excellent adjustment there, and the deceleration coming from Louis Vigil, who gets Bacolod on the board, but Brandon Ramirez gets the first field goal for the Giant Lanterns. Ramirez did not see action, a lot of action in that game against the San Juan Knights. Only played 4 minutes, scored only a point against the Knights last Friday.
And one thing, if you're Bacolod, though, if you want to come out with a win here, you gotta, play a lot of defense and be very efficient on your offensive side as well. Because if you don't, then these guys are gonna run on you.
Ludovice now able to get past the defense. That's a foul on Raymond Binuya.
Ludovice, of course, riding high on his milestone of 1,000 points. Congratulations to Ivan. Pretty much well deserved. It's one of those guards that can actually put the ball on the floor, make decisions, and can score too if needed.
Ay kung anong kailangan ng koponan niya, Coach, yan ang ibibigay ni Ivan Ludovice. Proven winner in the collegiate ranks. Of course, coming from that esteemed San Beda program in the NCAA. Those are his numbers. 14.3 points per game this season. Started out this year with the Negros Buscovados. Made his way to this Bacolod squad. 4-3 is the count. Or the 2 minutes gone by here in the first quarter. De Leon overshoots that under goal stab. Ramirez tips his miss right back in.
Well, some action that's being done here by Pampanga to start off the game. Really wanting to execute, and sabi nga nila kanina, we don't mind who's in front of us. We're gonna battle it out.
Marilao shovels the pass. Lopez now gets it from the elbow.
One of the big men that actually has very good range from 15 feet in. Ito si Decoy Lopez.
Only good for 4 points in that game against the Mindoro Tamaraos despite starting para kay Coach RJ Argamino. Baltazar misses on the put shot. Matt De Leon goes up without the ball. He was fouled. He's going to take 2 shots.
Tsaka kita mo talaga dito sa Pampanga, being a champion team, executing offensively, making those movements, activities, middle ball screen, off-ball action, just shows they're not taking anything lightly, and they're taking this as an opportunity in order to prepare for them come the playoffs.
Balti will come out for another Baltazar. Wilson checking into the game. He was supposed to start earlier, but got pulled out. Second free throw is a miss para kay Matt De Leon. Lopez collects the rebound. Forward to Danny Marilao. Marilao sees an opening.
Wow.
Binitbit ang bola. And gets the 2 points. Danny Marilao, those big hands really helping him with those kinds of finishes.
Parang naiisip ko na gustong-gusto ni Danny Marilao maglaro dito sa Olivares. You remember that one time we covered him?
Yeah, against, I believe that was Bataan.
Yeah, I think that was Bataan.
Engaged Dante Pagyo, in a dunk exhibition.
Correct.
That spanned a few possessions. And Danny Marilao, one of the more exciting players on the break, especially in the big man position dito sa ating liga.
One of the big men who can actually go out on the open floor and finish. See right here, trying to elevate against De Leon. Ooh, binaba pa.
That's our fast break of the game, brought to you by SportsMax, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Went to the max, and here Marilao continues to be active offensively para dito sa Bacolod. This time attempting from the outside. He was fouled, and he's going to take 3 shots. something rare para kay Danny Marilao. You don't usually see him going for those outside shots, especially when there's someone in front of him.
I was gonna say, that's pretty much a stretch para kay Danny Marilao, to your point. Tumira ng tres nang may depensa sa harapan. At step back pa.
10.4 points per game this season para kay Danny Marilao.
Very rarely do you see him take shots from the outside. Mostly perimeter, he's good at it.
Marilao able to get Bacolod up by 5 now. 6 minutes and 12 seconds to play here in the first quarter.
Good steal.
Vigil almost disrupting the passing lanes there para sa Bacolod. Now, early on, Coach, here in this first quarter, is there a difference to the offensive structure of the Pampanga Giant Lanterns?
Well, I feel it's pretty much a lot of similarities on how they ran before against San Juan. It's just that kakaiba rin talaga yung binigay na depensa ng San Juan in that game. Well, the options are a little bit more on the outside compared to more of the paint action to start that game for San Juan.
It was really something that the Knights had to put their foot down on because they were, after all, going not just against the defending champions, not just against a team that they faced during the Northern Division finals last year, but also the best defensive team in the league.
Yeah. At saka they were not denied actually yung attempts. And as a matter of fact, they were plus 30 in terms of attempts. And so it really just makes ang naging challenge.
That free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Jojo Antiporda coming in for the first time para kay Coach RJ Argamino. Tight pass there inside. That's gonna go the other way to Pampanga.
At saka malaking bagay na nawala rin talaga sa kanila yung bench scoring para dito sa Pampanga. They were minus 22 in that game.
Oh! Matt De Leon ringing the bell early here with that slamma-jamma. But Pampanga still down by 2 points against Bacolod. We're now approaching the halfway point of quarter number 1. Ludovice trying to back down Binuya. That's one of the advantages to having Ivan Ludovice playing your point guard position. But here, let's check this out. Binuya with a bounce pass right on the money to Matt De Leon. One-hand stuff.
Didn't take too much effort, that 2-foot jump right off the leap.
And here they are again. Binuya gets it back to De Leon. This time, he lays it in with the left hand. Tabla na tayo dito, and Pampanga gets the steal. The Giant Lanterns looking to push again. Outside they go. Alcoriza, the adjustment, just short on the dipsy-do. But who tips it in? That's Brandon Ramirez, also very active here offensively para sa Pampanga.
Well, I guess after that jam by Matt, really just turned the engines on for the Giant Lanterns.
And it looks like that was all that they needed to bring on the pace here in this game against Bacolod. 4 straight points para kay Matt De Leon, and then a basket galing kay Brandon Ramirez. The score now 13-11 in favor of the defending champions.
Back at the Olivares College Gym, no matter what happens, Bacolod will fight. Being a positionless team, wala masyadong pumuposte. They will spread out, run, do their individual assignments, know their man, and contain alone. Huwag daw aasa sa iba para focused. Ivan Ludovice shared his thoughts, being one of the veterans who experienced playing against several defending champs in this league. He said, as underdogs, give importance to every possession, show positivity. Hindi pwedeng mindset, yung ang lakas ng kalaban, talo na to. This is a moment to take pride in what you can do as players. Show your talents at all costs. I also asked while I was at it. Sabi ko, Ivan, alam ko marami natututunan sa'yo mga bagong guards. Ikaw, ano naman ang tingin mo sa kanila ngayon? Sabi niya, grabe. Dati clear ang roles ng 1 and 2. Ngayon, yung 1, kailangan points guard na eh. Di lang pwedeng orchestration. Gave Kurt Rayson as a clear example. Grabe daw ang skills to score. Javi and Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. Impressive report right there. And, to expound more on that report by Mika on Ivan Ludovice, Ludovice has always been somebody that you could expect to make sure that his teammates are motivated no matter how much odds are stacked against him. And his experience has even brought more to the table in whichever team he plays for. And that time he delivers a pass to Jojo Antiporda. Coach Mike, you've known Ivan also for quite some time, and I'm sure you could share some stuff more about him.
Yeah, that's just the leader that he is. He's got really good basketball IQ, to your point. Yung pag-motivate sa mga teammates niya, and let alone yung kung paano niya tinitimon yung team niya inside the floor and even on the bench. So that speaks highly of the kind of basketball knowledge that Ivan has. Sinabi niya na nagbo-blur na yung designation between 1 and 2 skill-wise. Talagang nag-iba na parang nag-morph na into 1 If you're a scoring guard, you have to be able to make good decisions. If you're a point guard, you have to be able to score. And that same goes to, I guess, the 4 spot na rin. Ganun na rin yun.
I think for any position right now, Coach, in fact, hindi na nga, di ba ang sinasabi na nga ngayon, it's more of positionless basketball.
Right.
And we saw Alfred Cedillo getting an end-one opportunity there. Pretty pump fake to get the defense off guard. It's going to be a platoon substitution here for the Giant Lanterns. I don't think Coach Pedic Di Matulak was happy about the run that Bacolod went on after they took a timeout when the Giant Lanterns gave them the lead. Cedillo completes the three-point play. But going back to that conversation, Coach, you really can't say that you could only be designated into one type of position right now in today's game, because if you're only set on one type of skill profile, you're not gonna make it into the next level.
That's right. Mahihirapan ka to get it to the next level. And so you have to have that skill set in your bag. Otherwise, you're just left in the level where you're at. And so playing here in the MPBL, lalo na, very physical, a lot of very skilled players. You have to be up to it if you want to compete.
Vigil trying to make a move against ito si Jamo Egilos. Sidestep. Not really the typical one that you would see, but that's Louis Vigil for you.
But maybe you can say they're heeding the call of Ivan right now to be able to respond against any adversity that they have right in front of them.
And that's just an incredible pep talk. And I would also like to touch on the pride that Ivan Ludovice has mentioned in that report by Mika, as Vigil gets another basket, this time off a fadeaway shot in the break. Yan talaga ang kailangan mong patuloy na ipakita
Right.
as you go on in your career. Hindi pwedeng dahil makita mo malakas na yung kabila, talagang ibibigay mo na lang yung panalo dun sa isang team
Yeah. And kailangan talaga lumalaban ka. You have to be able to compete regardless of what your standing is. Lalo na, for the most part, these guys, this is actually their living. And so, you'd like to think that other agents and other teams would be looking at certain players that we want to add up to their rosters next season.
Kahit nga, Coach, sa mga pick-up games, pag makita mong medyo dehado ka, mas gaganahan ka pa nga, di ba?
Correct.
Louis Vigil is truly exuding that kind of attitude right now. That's 6 straight points for the former Growling Tiger. That's a three-pointer coming from Ian Pardo.
And Pampanga, I'm sure they're not happy. That's a little bit too careless. Off a baseline, out of bounds, coming off a basket. You can't afford to make those mistakes.
Coach, we're seeing something sort of reminiscent to what happened to the Pampanga Giant Lanterns against the San Juan Knights, but Kurt Rayson trying to avert a collapse here para sa kanilang kupunan against San Juan. They were down early in that first half.
Yeah, but you see that face in Kurt Rayson. He really means business now. After making that passing error earlier, he's up to making it up and doing so much better. And he wants his teammates involved on the floor. He can't do this alone.
Louis Vigil against the younger Archie Concepcion. The Concepcion gets the better of that matchup. Joe Gomez Deliano lays it in for 2 points.
That's one guy from Pampanga that you'd love to see get more airtime on the floor. And he's just a very capable guy that can play that 2 spot too. But the Decoy says, I can hit 3 as well.
Coach, ang ganda ng palitan ng parehong kupunan dito sa ating first quarter when Pampanga saw that Bacolod is not gonna back down from this challenge. Sila naman ang nagsabi na, okay, let's bring it on.
Yeah. And their shooting percentage right now, what, 54%? Roughly, and that's pretty good if you're going up against the defending champions.
Actually, 64%.
There you go.
Concepcion get his own offensive rebound right there and put it back inside for 2 points. Bacolod up by 4. Lopez. Now with Louis Vigil, Cedillo offering the roadblock. Vigil gets free from the initial defender. Pardo with 6 on the shot clock. Back to Vigil.
Looks
Catch
good.
and fire.
Yeah.
That is good. Rattling it home. Louis Vigil. How many points does he have right now? That's 11 in the game para kay Louis.
And he's feeling this game right now. The way that he releases, he's got that hop on his move. Sometimes, really, you have to beat the best in order to be called one of the best. And so that's what they're doing right now. They're taking it to the champs.
Pardo almost got a chance to get off a decent shot, but time just ran out right there for Bacolod. What a superb first 10 minutes for the City of Smiles, Coach Mike.
Yeah, and we were talking about expect Pampanga Giant Lanterns to come out firing. But it's the other way around. It's Bacolod that's actually coming out firing. Little bit of, I guess, low energy, so to speak, para dito sa Giant Lanterns to start. Very unlike them. There was a moment that they had that Matt De Leon run. They got into a timeout, but things really just started turning in favor of Bacolod with the shooting by Louis Vigil.
Yeah, Matt De Leon had the string of 4 straight points, which was followed up by a Brandon Ramirez basket. But after that, it was 7-0 burst by Bacolod, and that's why the score is 32-25. This is brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Check out a fan of the game brought to you by Jinky Skin. We are live from the Olivares College Gym here in Parañaque City, the home of your Parañaque Patriots. They will be seeing action later on against the North Division leading San Juan Knights in a game that would spell a lot of playoff implications, especially the Northern Division. Just like this game between Bacolod and Pampanga, of course, the Giant Lanterns trying to regain the top spot in that division, but Bacolod making them have a hard time in that first quarter. We're now here in the second period, and the string of baskets just continue para kay Louis Vigil. That's another 3-pointer. He has 14.
Well, here's more concerning, though. After this game of Pampanga, they're going to go up against Abra and Quezon. Those are 2 tough matches. And so you don't want to start it this way if you're Pampanga.
Especially those 2 teams that you mentioned are coming off very heartbreaking losses.
That's right.
Last Saturday at the Quezon Convention Center, the first quarter field goal story, you just saw 10 out of 27 para sa Pampanga. That's just 37%. But Bacolod, they shot 64%, 11 out of 17, Coach Mike.
Right, 10 lesser attempts, but, you know, really good mix para dito sa Bacolod. And the efficiency, if these keeps going para dito sa Bacolod, there could be a really good match here against the Giant Lanterns.
35-27 after those free throws by Concepcion. Cedillo will fire from the outside. Eguilos ducked away from the basketball. That's why Vigil was able to get to it. Vigil, heat check. That's no good.
And you know he's not going to shy away from that moment. You know he's going to take it just like this guy right here.
Race and stop and pop. At rims out, Marilao will push it para sa Bacolod. Here come the dark shirts. Vigil turns the corner. Corner pocket pass to Ramos. Cedillo, top of the circle. 3. That is all nylon. It's raining threes inside Bacolod.
Well, Danny Marilao right now is surrounded by shooters. And this is exactly what happened, very similar to what happened to San Juan. You know, long closeouts for those 3-point gunners by San Juan. And now, with efficiency not really on the side of Pampanga, Bacolod really just taking advantage of this and making them close out long. Another one here from the corner.
Cedillo Last time that he misses everything.
Pero again, kung ikaw ang Bacolod, kailangan masustain mo to the entire 4 quarters because you know at a certain time point of the game there's going to be runs by the Giant Lanterns. They're not just going to go away and let this slip out of their hands.
Especially when Pampanga starts to assert their dominance inside the paint. They obviously have the height advantage against the City of Smiles, who are only playing with 9 players in this game. Rayson almost got to the steal. Pardo charges into Joe Gomez Deliano. Ramos now with the basketball. Back to Ian. Pardo for 3. That's another air ball. That's going to be a shot clock violation against Bacolod.
Now, a couple of air ball shots there from the outside. Not really good shooting by Bacolod on the last 2 attempts. However, you like that defense of Pampanga is starting to rotate now on the shooters. And so, which would be more consistent? Would it be the made threes or the closeout that prevents those threes for Bacolod? We'll see as the game goes.
Sean McCarthy checks in. That's an errant pass picked off by Louis Vigil. Vigil draws the foul on Joe Gomez Deliano. The referee Seb Bingol says that's no basket. Tingnan muna natin itong 3-point shot of the game brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances.
Yeah. And Bacolod really just keeps attacking yung gaps nung Socona. And if that second defender comes in, passes off to the next available guy from 3 to try and do the same. And, you know, so long as they're making their shots from the outside, that defense is going to keep rotating. And at some point, that's got to be late. And that would be the point of attack para dito sa Bacolod.
You just saw the 3-point field goal story in this game. Vigil trying to add to that. They're now 6 out of 14. That's now over 46% para dito sa Bacolod. Rayson trying to improve their percentage from the great beyond, but that's no good. Ramos pushing to McCarthy. McCarthy doesn't settle for the outside shot, loses it on the dribble on the way inside. Gomez Deliano leading the break. He's going to take it all the way for 2 points.
Well, Joe wanted to get into a rhythm. He was not going to give up that ball. He wanted to finish straight on. He's got wing guys free, but look at the elevation. Ooh. Wow.
Smooth as silk. Joe Gomez Deliano, one of the more electrifying finishers here in the game. Coach RJ Argamino, though, will challenge that last call. He does have a case, Coach Mike.
Right. He does have a case, and so we'll see how this goes.
It didn't look like he was touched right there by Jamel Ramos. So we're going to take a short break. Malalaman natin ang resulta ng challenge after this one.
Basket is good for Joe Gomez Deliano. The challenge of Bacolod was successful. There was no foul.
It is a successful challenge para kay Coach RJ Argamino in Bacolod. Let's look at that again. Elegant finish on the break para dito kay Joe GDL. Pero kitang-kita, Coach, hindi naman nadaplisan si Joe dun sa basket na yun.
That's right. So that was a good challenge, and pagkakataon mabalikan to.
Marilao, quick drive. Well defended by Egilos. Gomez Deliano, look out below. Almost a slam there para kay Joe GDL, but cleaning up the mess was the Royal Bazooka, Archie Concepcion. That's going to be an end one opportunity para kay Archie.
O kaya sinasabi natin kanina, very important. Look at that elevation.
Nadulas lang ng
Nadulas
konti.
lang talaga eh.
It's still a basket para sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Good thing Archie Concepcion was there. I have a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play right now. Concepcion averaging more than a dozen points this season. A little bit of a dip in his numbers due to the added firepower that Coach Pedic de Batula, Governor Delta Pineda has chosen to bring in this season para sa kanila to try and bolster their hopes for a back-to-back bid for that national championship. Ludovice missing from the outside. That's their 15th attempt from three-point country, talking about Bacolod. Rayson to Gomez de Llano. Joe redeems himself with that three-pointer. Three is better than two.
Right, and this really started off defensively para dito sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Coupled with yung pagbaba ng shooting percentage nitong Bacolod. And so, you know, given this rhythm right now, I feel this is more of a Pampanga Giant Lantern momentum here.
Joe, that was defended well by Rashawn McCarthy. Vigil, and that goes out.
Yeah.
Pampanga with a chance again to regain the lead. Rayson in, out, behind the back. The pass to the left side. Concepcion once again puts it back in. He has had a lot of offensive rebounds in this game, Coach Mike.
Ito, lumalabas na talaga yung athletic ability nitong Giant Lanterns. That, I feel, was on hibernate mode earlier. Now a three by McCarthy. This is the first in a very long while that they made a basket. But in between those field goal inefficiencies, that's when Pampanga really started their run.
McCarthy, a little bit of hesitation between the legs. Step back, hand in the face. No problem. That's bottom para kay Rashawn McCarthy. That's his first basket of the game. Wait to get your first three-pointer dito sa ating laro. We'll take a timeout. Bacolod back in the driver's seat, 41-39.
Back at the Olivares College Gym for your Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, I talked to Coach Raiko Toroman. I asked about some things that he thought were advantages of San Juan on that day. And he said, first, San Juan was very disciplined on their execution on offense. Second, they were organized despite our height advantage. Third, they clearly know their strengths. The defending champs admitted to being complacent. Their intensity on that day was different from the other days. But not to worry, they will be back and be ready for the playoffs in no time. Javi and Coach Mike.
Thank you so much, Mika. Excellent report right there. And, you know, when you have a Coach Raiko Toroman on your team, such a big advantage.
Yeah.
Former Gilas Pilipinas coach who has had extensive experience internationally and also here in the local basketball scene. And just when we got back, Jeff Viernes has checked in for the first time. Baltazar is back in the game. That's our reigning MVP, by the way, not Wilson. MJ Garcia is also in the game for the first time and right away makes an impact offensive rebound in the putback para sa kanya.
And right now, the runs and the elevations being shown athletically by Pampanga Giant Lanterns are so much better than how they started this game. I mean, they mean business. They want to close out this half stronger than how they did in the game against San Juan.
16 points in the game para kay Louis Vigil. Viernes committing the offensive foul on the flip side right there. Still a lot of lapses, Coach, for the Giant Lanterns here in the first half.
Right. Much as we say na medyo typical Giant Lantern game na ito, but still, you gotta be very efficient. And, you know, right there, Louis Vigil sizing up that defense, understanding that he's not budging, and so he lifted and took that shot.
Baltazar making sure he snatched that rebound from the sky. Siya na magbaba ng bola dito para sa Pampanga. Flores gets the bounce pass from Balti. Misses on the push shot. That was short. Lopez, one-on-one here against Lervin Flores. Turns around, jumper. That was off to the right. Serrano to the right side. They go. Viernes from downtown. Yes, sir.
Jeff clearly was the key difference maker in that third quarter run. They were trailing a lot when it comes to threes. But as soon as Jeff knocked those downs, it bridged the gap, and Encho and the guys started coming back in that game against San Juan.
Vigil fall away jumper that was well defended by MJ Garcia. Viernes That's 5 straight points for the former Sarangani Marlin.
They're down only one.
Now 3 points, coach.
3 points, right?
46-43. Lopez tucks it down.
Yeah.
That's the trifecta over the reigning MVP, Justin Baltazar.
Yeah, you got to give it to Bacolod. They really are countering those baskets. But Jeff says, we're not yet done.
One of the best players in the league to heat up in a hurry, Jeff Viernes, the record holder for most points in a game when he scored 50 last year against the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards as a Sarangani Marlin. He scored 8 points in less than 3 minutes. Unang pasok niya lang sa laro na to. Talking about Jeff Viernes, former MPBL champion, as well with Batangas. 49-46 is the count. The last 3 games for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. We mentioned earlier that they do have Abra and Quezon on their schedule. But on October 4, they also have the Caloocan Batang Kankalu, who I feel they have been peaking at the right time here, Coach Mike.
That's right. And they're trying to make a run, hopefully, for that last Hope Corn advantage. But boy, you know, the way that the Giants Lanterns have been playing, I'm sure the coaching staff would not be satisfied with how they're showing so far.
Lervin Flores extending that Bacolod lead, that Pampanga lead rather, to 5 points. Bacolod misses on the other end, and here comes Enzo Serrano going downhill and scoring.
Yeah, ito medyo mas forceful na sila offensively, but now you gotta put a stop also to those defensive attacks. You gotta prevent them from scoring, make it difficult.
Excellent help side defense there by Lervin Flores as McCarthy got
no.
Baltazar knocks it down with the slam.
We already knew that was trouble the moment that he started rim running down right down the middle, and you gotta feed the big man running down the floor.
Ludovice now to Marilao at the free throw line against Flores. That's short. Pampanga is off and running again. No look pass by Viernes to Serrano. Enzo for 3. Bombs away.
The shots have been falling. The runs have been different. And your big man's running the floor. This is really pretty much Pampanga Giant Lanterns basketball right now. You got to sustain it, though.
The lead is now at the biggest, a dozen for Pampanga. McCarthy to answer. That's long. Marilao with the offensive rebound. McCarthy cuts middle. Ludovice recovers. Vigil. That looked short. Baltazar could have held on to it.
Magkita mo yung quick look para dito kay Ivan Ludovice. Immediately after catching that ball, located and understood where his shooters were and found Louis Vigil right there on the wing.
This is the play of the game brought to you by Suzuki. Up high and down hard for the reigning MVP.
And Mr. Vigil made a business decision not to get involved. I'm staying away.
Baseball pass. Couldn't get to a home run there. Baltazar to Flores. That sails out of bounds. Under a minute to play in the first half. Exactly 58.4 seconds are remaining on the game clock. Pardo through 2 screens. McCarthy, left wing three-pointer. That's off to the right. Baltazar forward to Garcia. Viernes. He hasn't missed in this game.
Both teams are really shooting pretty well from 3, way above the 32% mark. Roughly both at 40% now. Another run here.
Viernes has 11 points in just 4 minutes of game time. Pardo knocks it down from top of the circle.
Well, the rate this game's been being played, you're just surprised at the shots being knocked down by both of the teams from 3.
Both teams are on pace to break the century mark in this game if this continues. Baltazar, another dunk.
And with shooters all around, you won't have enough to cover a Baltazar, either running that rim lane or on that baseline side. You got to have a guy try and stop him way out.
Take a look at that. Marilao was late, and then the rim rattler coming from Justin Baltazar.
Kasi si Justin, isa sa mga bigs na, very legit can do slip screens because he's got good perimeter jumpers and got good finish from a couple of dribbles away from the rim.
63-51 is our halftime score. This is brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball ending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending, GameX. The stars have aligned, and now we are dead set for our MPBL All-Star Game.
Are you ready for more? Pacquiao finally knocked out the Sound All-Star Executives.
The man you have all been waiting for. How many times have we seen that, and it still doesn't get tiring to watch? A love to himself. For the tie! Oh no! No! That is it!
Three-point shootout champion, Orlan Wamar!
The crown will belong to the guy from the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Our champion is CJ Ganya. Boy Yaktub from downtown and leaner, yes sir. The run, Serrano on the move, Serrano all the way.
Oh my goodness, there we go. That's our first dunk of the game.
MPBL All-Star Game winner, the North All-Stars!
Mga kabasketball, handa na ba kayo? Makisaya ngayong September 7 sa Zamboanga City para sa 2024 Sikat MPBL All-Star Game. Iba ang sigla at laban sa Zamboanga. Suporta kita kung mga manlalaro MPBL, ang Liga ng Bayan. Basta Zamboanga, sikat.
Halftime between the Pampanga Giant Lanterns and the Bacolod City of Smiles. The score is 63-51 after a blistering start by Bacolod in that first quarter. The Pampanga Giant Lanterns came roaring in the second period to regain the lead and assert their height and their willpower and their firepower in this game.
Yeah, assert really is the right word. Lalo na sa field goal makes nila. That percentage was way below at roughly about 30%. At some point, but now it's 46% para sa Pampanga. A little bit better makes. Pag tingnan mo yung 3 points, 6 versus 9 makes on a plus 10 attempts para dito sa Bacolod. They're making a business decision. We're gonna shoot from the outside and hope na i-stretch yung depensa nitong Pampanga. And so far, yung mga multiple 3-point makers for Bacolod are Decoy Lopez, Pardo, and Vigil. And, really good shooting from 3 right there para sa Bacolod.
Jeff Viernes has 11 points in 5 minutes of gameplay para dito sa Pampanga. Archie Concepcion also has the same number, while Joe Gomez Deliano and Serrano round out the top scorers for the defending champions. On the other side, Louis Vigil already having half of his total from the last game with 16 points. Lopez and Pardo with 8. Cedillo has 6 para sa kupunan ni Coach RJ Argamino.
Tsaka malaking disparity rin na Javi is yung offensive rebounding. It's 14 versus 3 para dito in favor for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. And so they're really more concerned of transition defense. And so after making an attempt, they immediately go down. They don't worry anymore offensive rebounding para dito sa Bacolod.
Bacolod is on a 21-game losing streak. That's the longest losing streak already in the league. They're tied for the worst record with the Imus Agimat, the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. They did incur their first loss after so many games last Friday against the San Juan Knights, their counterparts in last year's North Division Finals.
Yan, kita mo talaga itong Giant Lanterns mean business when it comes to the bench point stat. Remember the last game they only had 20, now they're at 46, which is even 4 points above their normal average of 42 per game. And so for them to be waking up early and understanding na, bench, kailangan mag-produce kayo. It shows their intentional want to improve on that stat line.
The Giant Lanterns continue to rain it over on the glass. Irvin Flores was unable to complete his putback attempt, but good thing Enzo Serrano was there on the right side despite the presence of 3 Bacolod players getting the offensive rebound and got fouled.
And definitely, if Pampanga is to repeat as champions this year, Encho is going to play a key role alongside Kurt Rayson, Jeff Viernes, and even Archie Concepcion. Those are your top guns when it comes to the wing spot. Watch out for Encho in the corner.
It's Viernes who launches from the outside.
That's just how potent that setup is. I mean, you've got Jeff on the weak side wing, knocking down that three, pero ball side, the intent really is to corner exit itong si Encho Sorano for that three. So either way, you're gonna get a three-pointer attempt.
Viernes hasn't missed from the field in this game. He's 4 out of 4 from the outside. Lopez was stripped cleanly by Baltazar. Forward to Serrano. Good catch.
There you go.
And the finish for Encho Serrano. Two former LaSalle Green Archers connecting there on the fast break. McCarthy gets it to Lopez. Denied access there by the Pampanga defense. Viernes, another one on the way. That's his first miss of the game. Bacolod with a chance to run. Marilao will challenge Lervin Flores. He had bad intentions there, but Flores said, no way that's happening. Garcia, the stretch and score.
Well, so far, 3 of these 4 attacks offensively for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns are pretty much how they really play. You know, very intentional ball movement and finding the open man and getting the advantages in terms of scoring. Samantalang depensa, ito pinahihirapan rin ng Bacolod eh.
Vigil called for a dribbling violation there. He thought na nahawakan ni MG Garcia yung bola, and so he decided to dribble, but that was a violation laban sa kanya. This is the fast break of the game, brought to you by SportsMax, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Pampanga has 25 fast break points in this game. Bacolod, though, looking to get a version of their own here. McCarthy could not finish, slipped a bit before going up for that shot that caused that miss. Baltazar, another slam!
And somebody got down late defensively for Bacolod.
Ludovice answers back quickly with that layup. But Pampanga here, again, without numbers, Enzo Serrano decides still to go inside for that attempt. Vigil has Balti. The stretch with the left hand. That's 2 points more para kay Louis Vigil, his first basket of the second half. Serrano all alone for 3. That's no good. Baltazar, walang kahirap-hirap yung tip in.
Yeah, walang kahirap-hirap yun. And pretty much open floor basketball right now. Back and forth between these two teams, trying to exploit the fast break opportunities.
That should count para sa Bacolod. The board moved after the shot by Louis Vigil. But whatever happens, he is going to take at least a free throw here. Our referees will be reviewing to make sure that there was indeed a goaltend. Our referees in this game, Crew Chief Alan Manzano, Sep Pingol, and Carol Guay. Baltazar, another one-hand slamma-jamma.
And they really just don't have a rim protection against Baltazar up that close, especially with an intent to, you know, put it down straight through the cup.
Just a nonchalant reaction coming from Baltazar. He's had 3 dunks in this game.
Tsaka dami rin frustration yan from the last game na gusto niya ilabas ngayon. Ano? You know, that's not me that you saw the last game. And so from here on, you know, I'm going to make sure that I try and lead the pack for the Giant Lanterns.
It was indeed the goaltend against Pampanga. That's why Vigil was able to get a free throw there. He completes the 3-point play. Viernes continues his staggering shooting from the outside in this game. Jeff Viernes now with 17 points in this game.
Yeah. And he's pretty solid from the perimeter as well on the field. He's 4 out of 4 right now from the field.
Viernes, this time with McCarthy right there to defend. That's a miss. It's going to go out of bounds in favor of Bacolod.
And if you're Bacolod, every time you get that stop, you got to produce the other way, just like this one.
Louis Vigil getting another basket there. Bacolod still down by 18 points. Baltazar sees an opening. A finger rolls it.
And so far, malinaw na malinaw. Wala makakapigil kay Baltazar up that close. You really just don't have enough height and heft to try and counter that attack by Baltazar right in the middle.
20 ang lamang dito ng Pampanga. And there you see Pampanga team owner A.G. Gonzalez. Ludovice tried to go behind the back to Decoy Lopez.
Tsaka ramdam mo talaga humigpit na yung depensa nitong Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Each and every time, be it a two-man game or a single defensive coverage, there are spots on the floor which they clearly trap on and they just go at it.
Ludovice puts it up and in.
Oh, that's one clear guy that's no give up on his side. Talagang laban kung laban. Uh-oh.
Lervin Flores with a mini slam right there para sa Pampanga. How many dunks have we seen in this game, galing sa Giant Lanterns? 4? Balti already has 3.
Yeah, and we got one from...
A little baby slam there from Lervin Flores. And we got one earlier from Matt De Leon, so that's,
oh, yeah, that's
5
right.
already.
That's 5 already, that's right.
Garcia, high looper of a 3-point shot is short. Balti with another rebound.
Oh, man.
Flores, this time, he will go up and hard.
Uh-oh. We got another one coming. I don't recall of a game.
Alam ko September 7 pa yung All-Star Day natin.
This is a good preview.
Bakit ang dami ko na nakikita na dunk ngayon?
Oh, but it's really just born out of unselfishness and just giving it up to Lervin for that jam underneath.
My goodness. Almost made an ode to the original Spider-Man, Arvin Santos, a former Giant Lantern himself. But boy, this Pampanga squad is humming, slamming, jamming, whatever you want to call it. Call it taking a time out here. Justin Baltazar has had, I can't even count anymore, 5 dunks already in this game? Just for himself. Pampanga, I think, has 8 total slams sa ating laro. That game against the San Juan Knights, he was scoreless in the first half, coach, but was able to bounce back in the last 2 quarters, had 19 and 17 rebounds. Still MVP numbers para kay Baltazar. More of him coming from Mika Besames.
To that point, Javi, I talked to Balti. He wasn't very happy about that San Juan game, obviously. Sabi niya, ako 3rd and 4th na lang ako nakagawa. Kahit sila Kurt and Archie off game, they all weren't able to stop Orlan Wamar. So sabi niya, dahil nga hirap ang backcourt on that day, hindi sila nag-workout sa mga tres nila sa labas, sumikip ang ilalim sa akin. One thing he will be more worried about getting into the playoffs. But before the playoffs, Balti talked about how excited he is for the All-Stars to be teammates with the All-Stars defending champs of the North. Na-miss daw niya ang kulitan nila sa dugout. And of course, to welcome Greg Zilla into that star-studded North team. Sa September 7 na yan, mga kaliga, siguradong mas marami pang slam dunks from Mr. MVP. Javi and Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. Hindi lang star-studded, but towering North All-Stars.
Yeah, correct.
Imagine to have Greg Zilla, Justin Baltazar, and you even have Jason Ballesteros, Will McAloney in that lineup. Wow.
Totoo yun.
We're gonna see, I think, maybe 100 dunks in that.
And there'll be a lot of times, I guess, papapatayo ka sa kinaupuan mo, Happy.
Baka nga, Coach, buong game ako nakatayo nun.
No, but I like that report also by Mika, and especially with Balti recognizing na yun, yung mga 3-pointers nila hindi pumapasok sa labas, kaya naging masikip yung shaded area para sa mga bigs nila. But if you look at the numbers, they got 8 in that game, which is really their average season-wide. Pero mas madami yung attempts nila in that game. They had 7 more attempts. So you expect these guys to make more, at least 3-4 more shots from the outside. That could have spelled differently how that game went para sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns.
Alfred Cedillo scoring para sa Bacolod, ending mini drought para sa kanila. Joe Gomez de Leano is in the game, as well as Archie Concepcion. Ronan Santos is also back para sa Pampanga. Strong drive by Joe GDL, and he gets it off the back.
Yeah, napaka-importante niyan si Joe. Alam mo yan, Javi, you know, he brings so much to the table. He could even stretch out that rotation sa wing para dito sa Giant Lanterns.
Pampanga gets a steal. Egilos on the floor. few years ago, that would also
that would
have
have
been a
been.
slab.
Now, even last year, that would have been a jam already for JMO.
95 to 66. You know, Coach, I had my doubts of Pampanga reaching the century mark here in the third quarter because they had 80 with, I believe, around 6-5 minutes to go.
Right.
Pero ngayon, ang dami pa nating oras. 3 points na lang, 100 na sila eh.
It makes you wonder, ano ba yung season, highest points scored
In a quarter.
in a quarter?
We'll check that with
Right.
our head statistician, Jory Mangonon, later on. There's a foul on Bacolod, possibly an unsportsmanlike foul.
Yeah. And kanina yung pinag-uusapan natin early in the first quarter, in the first half even, when Bacolod was actually keeping in stride with Pampanga. Ang sabi natin, kailangan efficient ka. How much more can you keep up with this? And now, I guess, yung wear and tear nandyan na.
And that's always been the case para sa Bacolod, going up against teams like Pampanga. When you start missing and the other squads get on a rhythm, amp up their defense, then you could now say goodbye to your bid to even try and keep up, especially here with Pampanga, who's coming off a loss to San Juan.
And I guess key here is that they're not getting too much to the line. I mean, itong Bacolod is primarily a free throw shooting team. They roughly get about 15 points from the free throw line, and so far nakakailang trips pa lang sila, no? And so, that got taken away from them kasi madalas tumitira sila sa labas and you don't get fouled so much from the three.
Kurt Rayson is at the line for 2 shots. He sinks the first free throw. It was a foul on Ian Pardo, who had the good intention of stopping the fast break. Kaya lang wala ng tao sa harap ni Kurt Rayson nun eh.
That's right. And clearly kung paano nilalaro ng Pampanga itong game na to. I was talking to Decoy Lopez at the start of the game. He said, kumusta kayo? Sabi niya, naghahanda para sa laban na to, pero mahirap kasi galing sa talo itong Pampanga Giant Lantern. So tingnan natin kung ano magagawa namin. And so, they did their best in the first half, but really, the runs just kept on coming for the Giant Lanterns.
And they are now at 100, talking about the defending champs. RC Concepcion now making a move against Ivan Ludovice. What a getaway right there to score inside for the Royal Bazooka.
And again, and just the freedom to go to spots and understanding what the schemes are. And so if you're Bacolod, kailangan lang magpatuloy ka ng pag-execute mo. Again, babalik ito parang tryout na to para sa next season. Just to the most of these players.
Jojo Anteporda scoring from the corner. That was a 3-pointer para sa kanya. Jojo Anteporda has been doing a lot of extra workouts recently with his former conditioning coach at UE, who was former UP Fighting Maroon, Paulo Romero, trying to make sure that he prepares more and equips himself with the added conditioning to be able to keep in step, lalong-lalo na konti na lang sila naglalaro dito sa Bacolod.
Oo. Importante talaga ang preparation. That just keeps you in step when it comes to the game situations and the game conditions.
You're a guard here in the MPBL. You have to be able to still keep up with the physicality. Alam naman natin na
Correct.
kahit naman guardia, talagang matindi pa rin ang pisikalan.
Correct. It's not enough that you have good handles. You have to have very strong body to absorb those contacts. Because alam naman natin, medyo physical ang dito, ang tawagan dito sa MPBL.
And you make a move, get past the initial defender.
There's the next guy that's coming. So you have to be ready for that too.
Cedillo will come out in favor of Danny Marilao.
Kadalasan pa naman paglabas ng secondary defender na yun, either for the most part so much bigger than you.
Jamel Ramos pumasok na ulit para sa Bacolod. Labas si Ian Pardo. Rayson, beautiful step back there. Just a miss. Masyadong malakas. Anteporda. Easy finger roll for him on the break.
And you do have to remember that most of these Pampanga Giant Lanterns are on a mission to try and repeat before moving on to the next level. I mean, these guys want to create that legacy for their team.
And for those of you that don't know, there has not been a repeat MPBL champion in our 6-year history.
And that, I guess, puts any any doubters aside, Pampanga really is the real deal when it comes to making that back-to-back opportunity.
Beautiful control on that attempt galing kay Archie Concepcion.
Isa na yan si Archie. I mean, malaking bagay para kay Archie ang ma-achieve yung back-to-back na yan because, he's been there through the building years and now's an opportunity for that legacy moment for Pampanga.
And I think also one thing that motivates Concepcion is, he's bid to try and make it back to the PBA. He was already there, got drafted last year, played for Blackwater along with another MPBL alumni and James Quecote. A championship for Pampanga with him being one of the vital cogs will definitely boost his bid for that. Check out the highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration. You just saw a preview of the dunk contest.
Right. And the efficiencies has not gone the way of Bacolod, which resulted in situations like this. Really just open floor basketball and really more freewheeling action for the Giant Lanterns. The defense has become porous and they just kept attacking those gaps. While the shots from the outside have not really fallen that much for Bacolod.
Just a pity that none of the Giant Lanterns will be participating in our dunk contest on September 7th. But the same, we still are very much happy to be delighted by the highlights that they've seen. Our end of the third quarter score is 106. Di po kayo nagbabalik mata. 106 to 71. That's brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball ending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Take a look at our fans of the game brought to you by G.E. Skin. Dalawa sa mga nagagandahang dilag dito sa loob ng Olivares College Gym in Parañaque City for our Tuesday triple header dito sa Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League and Liga ng Bawat Pilipino. This is Javi Palanya joined by Coach Mike Perez and Miss Mika Abisamis. You just witnessed a 43-point third quarter for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns after they scored 38 in the second period, being down by 7 in the opening quarter. What a turnaround it has been for the defending champions. We were beginning to doubt that they would actually be able to pour out all of their frustrations on Bacolod in that first quarter. But then again, you can't doubt the heart of a champion.
Yeah, and yung third quarter run na yon, clearly put a stamp on, eto na kami. Eto na ang Giant Lanterns. Just for the record, on the average, they would have about 76 field goal attempts. Right now, they already have 83 and they still have a full quarter ahead. And so really, ang daming pagkakataon ng pumuntos para dito sa Giant Lanterns.
I'm pretty sure that by the end of this game, they're going to have at least 100 attempts.
Yeah.
Brandon Ramirez, who had quite a remarkable first quarter in a starting nod. There you see his family cheering him on from behind the Pampanga bench.
And the offensive rebound is 22 versus 3. The entire third quarter, Bacolod never got an offensive rebound after those in the first half.
Louis Vigil has scored in double figures his entire stint with Bacolod. He's played already 10 games for them this season, averaging 25 points. He's already beyond that total sa laro na to. He scored 31 in their last game against the Mindoro Tamaraws. Third quarter field goal story, 18 out of 29 for Pampanga. That's just one quarter, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Bacolod was able to get 9 out of 19 only.
That's right. And it really just goes to show you how much firepower Pampanga Giant Lanterns has shown, especially in that third quarter run. And you see, defensively, no let-up pa rin. Matt De Leon still went up for that highlight of a play being attempted by Danny Mariel. They're not giving anything up easy to Bacolod.
Benoya loses it to the ground. He gets it back. Brandon Ramirez, he'll go for the easy 2 points.
Mike and Javi, sama na yun. Kota na muna tayo dyan. Layup lang tayo ngayon.
Ramirez now has 8 points and 5 rebounds. Vigil, isolated against Wilson Baltazar, puts it up with one hand. That's 29 points in the game para kay Louis Vigil.
Yeah, when you talk about scoring guards, Louis Vigil's got to be up there in that conversation. Clearly understands how to create separation without use of the dribble. But right there, Ramirez just getting that shoulder right through Louis Vigil.
Brandon Ramirez is one of those Pampanga players that will move up to the PBA. He has already been drafted. He's just going to finish his stint this year with the Giant Lanterns. And so, you know, to that point, I say Louis Vigil was sort of telling him that I'm still more experienced, young gun.
Boy, these stats are just staggering when you look at it for Pampanga. Biggest lead at 37, 81 bench points.
81 bench points?
81 bench points. That's almost twice their normal average of 42. 44 fast break points, 28 second chance points, 70 points in the paint. Talk about dominance, Javi.
You just saw team owner Aurelio A.G. Gonzalez III of the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Louis Vigil, a little step back. Jumper is good. Louis Vigil at least has been consistent in terms of his percentage. 14 out of 20 right now. He's shooting above 68% in this game. Alcoriza knocks it down from the outside. So that just means, Coach, with that 81 bench points that Pampanga has been able to score as Alcoriza gets another one, that most of their points have come from their bench mob.
That's right. And when you talk about bench mobs, you're talking of Archie Concepcion, Kurt Rayson, Jeff Viernes was pretty huge as well. 19 for Archie and 17 for Jeff Viernes right off the bench, and Kurt had 10. So those three guys already, that's more than, what, 30 plus points already combined.
Raymond Binuya joining in on the scoring party para sa Pampanga. Jamel Ramos will come back in. 117-79 is the count. Meron pa tayong Bulacan Cuyas versus Mindoro Tamaraos after this. And then San Juan Knights will be going up against the home squad, the Parañaque Patriots. Their three-point shot of the game is brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. Brandon Ramirez working hard on the offensive boards once again.
Yeah, and you know, these guys coming off the bench for Pampanga, most of them shooting percentage above 30%. And the only ones that didn't make it are Wilson Baltasar and Santos right there. Everyone else just shooting above 30.
14 foul on the Giant Lanterns, and we still have 6 minutes and 17 to go in this game. Louis Vigil has already tied his total from their last game against the Mindoro Tamaraos. Vigil gets a screen from Lopez. De Leon switches out on him. Di siya kumakagat sa mga galaw ni Louis. Good line on the shot, just too strong. Alcoriza is off and running. He has Binuy on the right side. He'll take it all the way and get the 2 points.
And so far what we've seen from Louis, sure, he's finding a way to try and score against the defense, but defensively it's taking a lot out of him. And so for the most part, you see him coming in late, especially when Pampanga makes a run of misses by Bacolod.
Orenz Alcoriza making up for that lackluster first half that he had. He started this game but only scored 3 points in the first 2 quarters. He's already up to double figures in this one with 13 markers. Alcoriza, though, will pick up the foul. That puts Pampanga over the limit on 32-79. We're just awaiting the final score of this one. Coach, for Pampanga, let's just try and preview their next 2 games. That's against Abra and Quezon. Well, okay, sama na rin natin yung Caloocan. Of course, these are 3 teams that are up there in the team standings, especially for Abra and Caloocan, who are in the same division as Pampanga. That free throw was brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. We'll talk about that right after this break as Pampanga has decided to burn one of their timeouts. It's still 5 minutes and 43 remaining in this game.
basketball. Handa na ba kayo? Makisaya ngayong September 7 sa Zamboanga City para sa 2024 Sikat MPBL All-Star Game. Iba ang sigla at laban ni Zamboanga. Suporta kita kung mga manlalaro MPBL, ang Liga ng Bayan. Basta Zamboanga, sikat.
Mga Kaliga, we invite you to take part with us in our All-Star Game, which will be happening on September 7 at the Mayor Vitaliano Agan Coliseum on Zamboanga City. The North versus South All-Stars. But of course, we do also have our Executive All-Star Game, our three-point shootout, and our Slam Dunk Contest. Presenting our Suzuki Muscular and Sporty fan of the game, just like the Avenus, do more and achieve more with the Muscular and Sporty scooter from Suzuki, the Avenus. Oras na para magmotor. I mentioned earlier, as we ended the third quarter, that none of the Pampanga Giant Lanterns will be taking part in our Slam Dunk Contest. My mistake. Joe Gomez de Liano will be part of that cast.
Ah, yeah, that's right. Joe is part of it.
Kaya lang, dito sa laro na to, we still haven't seen a slam from Joe GDL. We almost did though. Kaya lang nadulas yung bola sa kanya eh.
Right. Tingin ko, pinapractice na niya yung kanina eh, no?
Well, I've seen him in his social media accounts, in his stories, that he has been working hard to prepare for that contest, which will be happening on our All-Star Day on September 7. Once again, that's going to be in Zamboanga City.
The defending champ is from Pampanga, right? CJ?
CJ Ganya
Right,
used to play for Pampanga last year, but
right.
he is now with the Negros Muscovados.
Right.
That's also going to be something to watch out for. Jeff Viernes knocks it down from the left corner.
Yeah.
Pampanga already up to 127 points.
That's right. And you talked about yung what do they need to do with Abra coming up next. Well, I feel they're going to be tested offensively and defensively. Well, primarily because Abra's been playing like a collegiate team. You know, that we saw that defense extended 94 feet away. And so they got to be able to solve that. And that, I guess, would be more on the guards. You know, Kurt Rayson, Jeff Viernes, Archie Concepcion, Encho Serrano, those guys breaking that press. And then, offensively, you know, Abra loves to move the ball a lot, and they're not ball hogging. There's not so much isolation plays, and so defensively, they got to work on moving that ball, moving that defense rather as the ball moves and those men move from the side of Abra.
And so for the Weavers, you know, you also have to give a lot of credit to Coach Yong Garcia.
Yeah.
His impact on this team has really rubbed off, and you could see that in their performance. Although it's really unfortunate that they did lose a heartbreaker of a game in overtime to the Zamboanga Master Sardines last Saturday at the Quezon Convention Center.
Right, and much as we give his flowers to Coach Yong, a lot of it really has to do with the coach Tantan Banalo. So him building the foundational schemes para din sa Abra and really just brought to the next level by Coach Yong. So had that foundation not been there, it would have been a little bit of a challenge. And the important thing right now is that they're peaking at the right time, speaking of Abra. And I've said this in the previous coverage. All the teams are actually looking at Abra right now.
Ronan Santos scoring on that pretty reverse. He has 8 points in this game. For Pampanga, you have 5 guys already in double figures and 9 guys who have at least 8 points in this game. MJ Garcia adding to his total with 6. Bacolod will take a timeout. 2 minutes and 47 to go in our game. We're back inside the Olivares College Gym in Parañaque City, the home of your Patriots, who will be seeing action later on in the last game against the San Juan Knights. Patapos na po ang ating laro. Our first game between Bacolod and Pampanga. Right after this, we have Bulacan going up against Mindoro. By the way, we'd like to give a shout out to the Pampanga VIPs led by Senior Deputy Speaker Congressman Dong Gonzales, team owner Aurelio A.G. Gonzales III, City Councilor Brent Gonzales, Ronald Santos joining in on the slam dunk party for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns.
I thought that was just going to happen after the party. Still in it.
Well, Pampanga clearly still has no signs of slowing down despite the limited time remaining in this game. They will continue to pour it on. You mentioned at the top of our coverage, Coach, you'd hate to be Bacolod at this point.
Ah, that's right. And with all guns ablazing, from outside, from the bench, from fast breaks, rebounds and all, it's just tough to be going up against the Giant Lanterns under these situations.
We are in our last 2 minutes, brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending the GameX, MJ Garcia trying to creep into scoring double figures sa ating laro as we continue to give shout-outs to the Pampanga VIP, Senior Board Member Mika Gonzales, Governor Delta Pineda, Vice Governor Nanay Pineda, Board Member Mylene Pineda, Mayor Esme Pineda of Lubao, Mayor Rodin Gonzales of Mexico, Athletic Sports Apparel, and Makimura Ramen Bar. Jojo Antiporda this time from the outside.
Yeah, if there's one thing that we have to also recognize in terms of the efforts of the Bacolod team, they did give a really good run in that first half, no? Making the defense of Pampanga Giant Lanterns work through efficient shooting. But again, crucial yung third quarter run na yun.
141 to 91. This is exactly a 50-point lead.
Oh, Balti, another slam!
And the Jams just really won't stop here for the Giant Lanterns. They sure are heated up after that loss to San Juan. They want to claim something back that used to be with them.
Hindi na ba tayo pwede magdagdag sa slam dunk contest cast?
Oh.
Baka pwede natin isingit si Balti.
Tingin ko nagta-try out pa no? Parang gano'n.
Well, sa pamunuan ng MPBL, Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes, baka pwede nyo na isingit si Baltazar.
Pwede na. Really, just a spectacular run in the second half for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns.
What a game it has been for Pampanga. Definitely bouncing back hard. Times 10, times 20, I think times 30.
Right.
After that loss that they had to the San Juan Knights in the battle for Northern Supremacy last Friday. They really stamped their class on this one against Bacolod.
This is a huge comeback by Pampanga after that loss to San Juan. We keep going back to that because, there was a run that they lost in terms of win streak, and they want to start another one here, at least heading into the playoffs.
With their last 3 games remaining against Abra, Quezon, and Caloocan, they certainly will want to gain some more confidence going into our postseason. Our best player of the game brought to you by Daily Fantasy. Dito sa Daily Fantasy, hawak mo ang laro. Coach, despite the numerous excellent performers in this game, you went with Jeff Viernes.
Yeah, because he was the one who actually, bridged that gap. When things weren't really very consistent, Jeff went in there, made shots, didn't miss, and started that third quarter run for the Giant Lanterns.
Our final score, I think this is a record, 143 to 94 para sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns. This is brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Our best player of the game, Jeff Viernes, is with Miss Mika Abesames.
Maraming salamat, tama ka, Javi. Kasama ko ngayon ng Daily Fantasy Best Player of this game. Walang iba kung hindi si Jeff Viernes. Jeff, you guys were definitely back with a bang, especially after that San Juan loss. Maraming naging dunks, maraming naging layups, pero syempre pinakita mo rin ang veterans presence mo with your season high of 22 points and 4 rebounds.
So yun nga, of course, papasalamat pa rin kami. Nakuha namin itong game namin, bounce back game namin. Syempre, yung nangyari sa amin against sa San Juan, ginawa namin motivation and kailangan namin mag-prepare talaga. Kasi yun nga, pinakita ng San Juan sa amin na talagang mas malakas sila ngayon. So kailangan namin mag-double effort. So especially itong pa-playoffs na. Mga ilang few games na lang for elimination. So kailangan namin talaga, kanina bad start pa nga kami. So kailangan namin talaga i-correct lahat ng mga mistakes namin, especially on the defensive side. So kailangan lang namin mag-stick and of course be positive pa rin. So kailangan namin ng bawat isa para yun nga makuha na nakapag-recover kami ng second quarter until fourth, nakuha namin yung panalo today.
Tama ka, Jeff, na pag-usapan mo yung bad start. Ang ganda ng simula ng Bacolod, pero sabi nga ni Javi, you cannot count out the hearts of champions. 38 points ng second quarter, 43 points ng third quarter. Talagang ang dami yung inayos coming into this game.
Yeah, yung halftime nga, syempre, ni-remind na kami ng, of course, yung boss namin, mga coach namin na talagang malamya kami. Masyado kaming malamya nung start namin. So, at least nakapag-regroup kami. Start kami ng third quarter, maganda na yung start namin. So, hanggang natapos, nagtuloy-tuloy. And yun nga, thank you sa panalo.
Maraming salamat, Jeff. Meron ka ba mga gustong batiin at pasalamatan?
Birthday to ng wife ko ngayon, si Anne. Yan, happy birthday. And nandun siya ngayon. And of course, thank you sa Lord na nagbibigay pa rin ng lakas. And of course, mga bosses namin, sila Boss Gov, Senior Deputy Speaker, Congressman Don Gonzales, Team Honor, Aurelio A.G. Gonzales III, City Councilor Brent Gonzales, Senior Board Member Mika Gonzales, Governor, of course, Boss Gov Delta Pineda, Vice Gov Nanay Pineda, Board Member Mylene Pineda, Mayor Esme Pineda of Lubao, Mayor Philip Nagit of Minalin, Mayor Ruding Gonzales of Mexico, Athletic Sports Apparel, Makimura Ramen Bar, and of course, Boss Robert, Kai ng Boracay Dilea family, M-Trans family, Boss June, manager and family ko from sa LA, ng mga taga Delphine Albano, and sila ko Jeff, and yung mga taga Friday Club ko dyan sa San Fernando, sa St. Francis Village. And of course, yung mga pinsan ko, and mga kapatid ko pala, and then yung pamangkin ko nasa hospital ngayon, pagaling ka. And mga relatives ko rin sa LA, yun. Thank you so much. And mga taga-Anala Boys, Jacob Manala pala, yan. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right, maraming salamat. Once again, happy birthday to Mrs. Viernes. Our Daily Fantasy best player of this game is Jeff Viernes sa Daily Fantasy. Hawak mo ang laro. Javi and Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. Once again, congratulations to Jeff Viernes and the rest of the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. That was the second highest score in a game for a team. The highest was 146 last year, but this is the highest this season para sa Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Up next, we have the Bulacan Cuyas going up against the Mindoro Tamaraos. For my partner, Coach Mike Perez, and for Ms. Mika Abisamis, this has been Javi Paranya. Keep it locked in here on the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.